Hello everybody, my name is Lonlon and welcome to another episode of Panillae. Last episode we built this pretty massive lake behind me, and in this episode we need to add something because no lake can be a lake without some land surrounding it. So hopefully we will be able to build some land around the lake and maybe even add a few details and trees and such. And earlier today, I went to Mr. Chocolate's base. Mr. Chocolate is another member on the server, and bought a lot of shulker boxes that are filled with grass and dirt, so we actually have the resources to expand the custom terrain. Before we start building, I wanna show you guys a bit of the area around the place where we put the lake. In most directions, we have just forests, but in this direction, which I think is north, we have an ocean, which is a bit of an issue because we need to make it so it actually makes sense to have a lake so close to an ocean. Because when you think about it, water wants to flow down. So if we have a river going from mountains, they would want to go straight into the ocean. So we need to find some kind of way, maybe putting a hill in the middle, or a forest or something, to make it so it actually makes sense to have a lake so close by to an ocean. And in the end, I would like to connect this lake with a river going into the ocean. So that's another thing to keep in mind while figuring this out. But I am not really sure where to begin, so let me show you guys this very professional looking plan I've made a few days ago, so we can decide in which side of the lake to start building on. So here's our plan that I tried really hard to make. Anyway, the general plan is to have two mountain ranges at the bottom right and bottom left, and to have another hilly area at the top middle to separate between the ocean and the valley at which we're gonna have the lake and the turtles and the rivers and such. After looking at the plan, I think the best place to start building the terrain is in between the river that is meant to go from the lake and into the ocean, and between the river that is meant to come from the mountains at the east into the lake. And so I'm gonna go and build, and I will catch you guys when the time lapse is done. And what you see right here is all of the shulker boxes that I bought from Mr. Chocolate in terrain form. I spent about 5 hours placing down dirt and more dirt, and this is what we have. It looks a bit small, and that's because it is small. We're gonna have much more land. But this terrain should act like a blank canvas for us to add details on. For example, I am planning on transforming this stone face, and even maybe adding a few trees in this area, so I can actually show you guys what I mean when I say blank canvas of a terrain. Okay, so I got my cliff making box with me, which we are gonna use to add some texture into the stone face, and I also bought some resources to make trees with. So, first thing we can do to make this place look a little bit better is we can go over here and add some coarse dirt into the ground to add some texture into it. And so the next thing we can do is to go in with some bone meal and add some grass. Okay, after putting some bone meal down, and I myself like to remove all of the flowers because I don't really like them, you should make the grass density a bit less than what you got directly after placing all of the bone meal, because it can look a bit overwhelming if you have too much of it. And now we can move to the next stage, which is texturing the cliff. So let me clear my inventory, and then we will do that. Okay, so as you can see in my hotbar, I got cobblestone, gravel and andesite that I'm gonna go over here and use to get a better understanding of the way I want the gradient to be. After doing this and marking the way we want the gradient to look, we can take some detailing block and go in and make the cliff look just a little bit more smooth. And now, after the cliff has been smoothed out, we can add a few trees and rocks around the area to give it even a little bit more. Okay, so I went ahead and built this little trunk, which is gonna be the base of a spruce tree. The spruce tree is the tree I have the most experience with, and I wanna start off with something I know. So after building the trunk, I like adding little dark oak fences to represent branches. And after that, I like to add some leaves, like so. And so, a few minutes later, and about one stack of spruce leaves, we have a spruce tree. Now, it's not the best spruce tree I've ever made, but it's definitely not the worst one either. So now, I think I'm gonna add like a few more trees and maybe a few stones, so we can finish and we can fully transform this little section of the terrain. So, this is the way this section turned out. I think it turned out actually pretty good, and now that I'm seeing this, I think that if we ever want to put something on top of this hill, we could make an interesting path going this way and then up this way, which could turn out really well in my opinion. Anyway, I went mining with Ducelius, which is another member of the server, because after I bought all of the dirt to build the terrain, I ran out of diamonds. So I got some clips from the mining session. Enjoy!
Hey! Go. Let's go! Go, bro. Even more. Opa. Let's go.
You missed one.
Oh god. I don't want any more, man. I've had enough.
That's a shame.
Boy, Lucchetti is the great.
Oh, diamonds.
Wanna mine them yourself, man?
No, go ahead.
But you got that special pickaxe.
Okay.
Magical pickaxe.
Yeah.
Gimme. Hey, what? What are you doing, man?
After mining with Duke, I went mining by myself multiple times and have gathered up a pretty large amount of ores we can fortune now. So let's do that in a quick time-lapse mode. And so, after mining everything, I actually got a decent amount of diamonds, so I don't need to own only one diamond anymore. And the fact that I actually have some diamonds now is great, because when the opportunity comes, I can actually buy more dirt and grass to expand the terrain with. But unfortunately, I think this is gonna have to be it for this episode. So if you want, you can leave a like if you liked the video, a dislike if you didn't like the video, and goodbye.